StraightallDay.com.
Why you need to stop helping people for free. Now, and I put helping in quotation marks, but many of you really are helping people. You need to stop doing this for free. Some of you, especially those of you who are in service-based businesses, those of you who are in intellectual property-based businesses, and you have probably found yourself wanting to help people who you could tell either they really needed the help and they could benefit from what you had, and just out of an abundance of kindness and wanting to serve, and being that it literally is your professional skill and ability to help people with the very thing they need help with, you found yourself wanting to help that person because you knew you had something that they could benefit from. Maybe you found yourself wanting to help somebody who maybe for whatever reason wasn't in a position to hire you professionally, but you know they could use your services. And for whatever reason it is, maybe it's something in between those two, you decided to just help that person for free, or you made an offer to help them for free, or maybe they even asked you to help them for free. Maybe they didn't say free, but they wanted your help and they couldn't pay for it, or they wouldn't pay for it, or you wouldn't charge for it, whatever it is. If you found yourself coaching someone in a way that you normally would do professionally, but you weren't charging them for it because they're broke, or because they're a friend, they're a family member, or you can see that they just need some help and you're just a kind-hearted individual. If you've ever had that happen, today I'm talking to you. This episode is for and about you. And today I'm going to make it very, very clear to you why you need to stop doing it. If you've ever done it, if you're thinking about doing it in the future, you got somebody who asked you to do it today, or if you are in the process of doing it right now, I'm going to tell you why you need to stop. All right, does that sound good? Point number one. Today's topic, once again, is why you need to stop helping people for free. Number one, people do not appreciate what they have not invested in. As we say, when people pay, they pay attention. It's human nature. It is real. If people are not invested in the thing, they do not value it. This is simply how it works. Now, are there some anomalies? Are there some people out there that if you offer them something for free, they will treat it as if they paid $1 million for it and really invest in using it? Yes, there are. Is that most people? No, it is not. 95% of people only value what they pay for. In other words, if they don't pay, they simply act as if it doesn't matter, as if they act like they didn't pay, which means they don't show up, they don't listen, they don't execute, they don't follow through, they don't value what they have. When people pay, you get their full attention. You get their full undivided attention, and they do everything that you ask them to do simply because they paid for it. So it's almost like a confirmation bias. So since I paid for this, I might as well listen to everything they say because I paid for it. So you have to validate that whatever they're offering made sense, because otherwise you would be a dummy that had paid for it. So let me just listen to everything that they said. You have a coaching program. People who pay you for your coaching program show up to all the coaching calls. Why? Because they fucking paid for it. Now, you let somebody come into your program for free, they only show up to a half of the calls or 30% of the calls. Why? Because they didn't pay for it. So it's almost as if they never had it in the first place, because there's no emotional attachment to it. Most humans are emotionally attached to money. So you make them pull money out of their pockets, they will listen to whatever they paid for, and they will observe and absorb whatever they paid for, as long as there's enough money to get their attention, which is different amounts for different people. And that's how you get people to pay attention. This is why you need to charge for what you do. One reason why you need to charge for it. There's many reasons, but this is one of them. Because you need buy-in from the people who you're going to be helping. The price is a filter, ladies and gentlemen. There's a coach named Rich Litvin. I heard him say this in a book. He said that your prices are a filter for the type of people you want to work with. This is 100% correct. Prices are a filter for the type of people you want to work with, interact with, engage with, and be around. This is 100% true. I found this to be true when it comes to where you live, when it comes to where you live in terms of town and neighborhood, when it comes to where you live in terms of any of you who's like me and you live in apartments and condos a lot, when it comes to where you like to eat, where you like to party and relax, like a bar, a lounge, where you like to hang out, like what gyms you go to, what's some other things, what schools you go to, you get on the plane, do you like to sit in first class, do you like to sit in the extra comfort area, are you cool sitting in coach? The amount of money that is charged in those places, and it ranges, tells you the type of people you're going to be around. And this is the reason why people are willing to pay more money. I remember when I first came to Miami. No, not when I first came to Miami. It was the second place I lived when I first came to Miami. When I first moved into the downtown, Brickell area in Miami, early in my time here, probably around 2009. I joined this gym in South Beach that cost, when I first joined, it was $150 a month. I had never paid that much money for a gym. That was then a ridiculous number to pay for a gym. I have since paid that much for different gyms, but at that time I had never paid more than like $30 a month for a gym. And I was used to like LA Fitness type of gyms. But the thing is, where I had moved to, when I looked around, there were no LA Fitness type of gyms, at least not close enough to make sense for me consistently. I told you I think in systems. How can I do this over and over again? So this gym was a very nice gym. I went and saw it. I said, this gym is beautiful. And it says $150 a month. I said, all right, do I want to pay $150 a month for this gym? And I don't know exactly what my thought process was back then. Actually, I'm lying. I know what my thought process was. I said, at the time, I wasn't living in Miami Beach, but the gym was in Miami Beach. But it was straight across the causeway, so it would be easy for me to get there and back. I said, okay, South Beach is a place that I do want to engage. If I have a gym membership here, then I have a reason to come to South Beach every day. A consistent place to come is right in the heart of South Beach, and I'm going to get to know the South Beach life because I want to be in South Beach every day. All right, while I live in Miami, you're not going to go to South Beach. So I paid for the gym membership. Also, because there's a lot of pretty girls in that gym. And I didn't know it then, but I know it now, which is what I'm here to explain to you, not about living in South Beach, is that if you're looking for a certain type of individual and they tend to be higher level than the average person, just go to where it costs more. You're going to find them. And again, I'm telling you this applies in every aspect of life you can think of. If you want to eat dinner alongside higher level individuals, go to a more expensive restaurant. That's where they are. All right, don't go to Outback Steakhouse or Applebee's if you want to find high level people. That's not where they are. That's not where they gather. I'm not saying you can't randomly find one, but if you're looking for the high level individuals, go to a high end restaurant. It ain't nothing but high level individuals in there. Ain't no bums in there because they don't let bums in. And how do they not let bums in? Because they price them out. Is this a real thing, folks? Yes, it is. Organizations and businesses, they understand this very well. They don't say it in so many words. Nobody says this stuff out loud. I'm telling you, but they don't say it out loud, but it's a real thing. The reason why, those of you who live in big cities, you've been to a gym like Equinox or a gym like Lifetime Fitness, or if you live in, depending on the neighborhood that you work or live in high-priced neighborhoods, there are gyms that just cost a lot of money simply because of where they're located. Different gyms cost different prices. All right, there are LA Fitness gyms that are $19 a month in certain parts of the country. The same company, LA Fitness, you go to certain neighborhoods, that same gym is $150 a month. What's the difference? Location. Because in this location, we're looking for a certain type of person, so we're going to price in a way that we are sending a signal to that person, we want you. So that gym that I joined, that was $150 a month. The price was a signal to the type of people that the gym wanted to attract. This is the kind of clientele we want. So we're going to charge this much money so that we keep the people who are lower level out of here because they would never spend $150 a month. We want the people who would spend $150 a month, and we're going to let them all gather here. People like us do things like this. And that's exactly what that gym was. And yeah, that gym was great. That was a very great gym to be a part of. That gym no longer exists, by the way. But if it did, I might still be a member. But that was a beautiful place. If you want to, again, think about this. Just think about any places that you go in life where you paid more than you needed to pay. And because you paid more, you experienced something different than had you paid less, even though it might have been in the same place. And you ever been to a UFit gym or a Planet Fitness gym? These gyms that cost like $10 a month. What kind of people do you meet at those gyms? I remember I looked at a Planet Fitness. I had moved to North Miami Beach at one point. I didn't stay in North Miami Beach for long. Not a bad place, but I didn't stay there for long. Not because of this, but I'll tell you the story. I went and looked at a Planet Fitness that wasn't far from where I was going to be living. And I remember I pulled into the parking lot of the Planet Fitness, the parking lot. And in the parking lot, there were signs that said, make sure you lock all your doors, double check your doors are locked, and take all your belongings with you when you park your car here at this gym. They were giving you a warning that somebody might rob your car while you're in the gym. As soon as I saw that, I hadn't even gone into the fucking gym yet. I said, I know I'm not joining this gym, but I drove over here, so let me see. And this is, mind you, this was shortly after I had been a member of that other gym that I just told you about, the one that costs $150 a month. Planet Fitness is like $9. The reason I went and looked at it because I heard how cheap it was. I said, all right, $10 a month, let me go check it out. Let me see what it is. So I walk around the gym. First of all, the guy at the front desk was a fucking bum. Who knows how much money they're paying him. Now, mind you, the gym's $9 a month. How much do you think they're paying the staff? So anyway, he's showing me around the gym and they're showing me what they have. And they had the basic equipment that you need. They had the cardio, they had the weights. And then he showed me something. The last thing I remember about this gym is that they had this, it was like this big bright light. And up on the wall, the guy pointed out to me, he said, this is called the lunk alert. Lunk, L-U-N-K. I didn't know that lunk was a word. And I still have never heard anybody use this word other than in this experience with this gentleman at the Planet Fitness. He said, that's the lunk alert. And I said, what is the lunk alert? He said, we have this rule here that if you're lifting weights, you cannot drop the weights on the ground. Number one, if you're lifting heavy weights, don't drop on the ground to where it makes a big noise. And number two, you can't grunt or groan when you're lifting weights. If you do that, somebody's going to push a button for the lunk alert, and it's going to be a warning signal to everybody. It's going to basically point you out. He didn't say that. He said, we're going to warn you, but you can't do that here in this gym. And as he was explaining it to me, and I could tell he was kind of looking at me and sizing me up. Now, I'm an athlete at this time. This is the middle of my pro basketball career, so I'm muscular, and he could tell that I lift weights. I know my way around a weight room. And as he's explaining it to me, he has this smile on his face that he knows he sounds fucking ridiculous. But this literally was a rule in Planet Fitness. I don't know if they still have it, but this is the rule in Planet Fitness at this time. As he's explaining it to me, he has a smile that he knows that, again, I'm looking at him like, what? I'm kind of smiling as he's explaining because it sounds fucking stupid. And I'm like, okay, a gym where they penalize you for lifting heavy weights or dropping heavy weights, grunting and groaning. Now, personally, I'm not a grunter or groaner when I lift weights. And generally, I am indifferent to the big guys with the big muscles who walk around with the big gallon jug of water to the weight room and they're in there yelling at each other to lift the weights. They're basically saying you can't do that in Planet Fitness. So basically, they're making this gym friendly for people who ain't hardcore weightlifting, athlete, etc. type of people. I knew the gym wasn't for me as soon as he told me that. I knew it wasn't for me as soon as I saw the fucking parking lot. But this just more confirmed it. And I said, I don't want to be around a bunch of $9 people. That's why I didn't join Planet Fitness. No disrespect to any of you who's a member of Planet Fitness, but understand when you're a member of a place that advertises itself on being cheap, you are choosing to be around cheap people. And this is not the way I like to live in any aspect of my life. But that's just me. I'm not knocking you. The whole point here is going back to what we were talking about. Even if you're the best in the world at giving advice, remember the topic here today is stop helping people for free. You get the best advice in the world, people won't apply your advice because they didn't pay for it, right? Because it didn't cost them anything to get it, so they don't value it. I remember I was going to a gym called the JCC. JCC stands for Jewish Community Center. There are a ton of them down here in South Florida because South Florida has a huge Jewish community. And JCC is a nice gym to be a member of because, and I hope if any Jewish people are listening to this, don't take this as offense. I'm actually giving you a compliment. Jewish people take care of their shit. You go to a Jewish neighborhood, it's clean. You don't see any idiots standing on the corner. You don't see trash on the sidewalks. You don't see unkept yards. And if you go to one of their facilities, it's fucking clean, it's taken care of, and people are generally respectful. I was a member of a JCC. I am not Jewish. I was a member of the JCC. They had a beautiful gym, big basketball court, nice weight room, nice everything. Some nice girls in there too. That's neither here nor there. Now, I remember I was a member of this one in Fort Lauderdale. This is around maybe 2015, 2016. And the guy who worked at the front desk of the JCC was this obese guy. I'm assuming he was Jewish. This is why he was working there. And he could tell I was a basketball player because by my stature, he could tell. And also probably because every time I came in the gym, I had a gym bag with a basketball in it and I would go straight to the basketball court. So he probably knew that I was a basketball player. So one day I came to check in at the gym and a guy engaged me in a brief conversation. Not asking me about myself. He never did that. But he told me how he heard about some NBA player who had recently, and I knew about this story, so I knew what he was talking about. This NBA player had gotten suspended from the team because he had been using some illicit drugs inside of his hotel or inside his condominium down here in Miami. So the front desk guy, this fat Jewish guy, was telling me, did you hear about this NBA player who got caught with the drugs in the hotel? I said, yeah, I heard about it. And this fat Jewish guy goes on to start telling me, mind you, he's working at the front desk of a gym, beautiful gym, big, beautiful gym. He went on to tell me how he couldn't understand how NBA players do not value the opportunity that they have of being an NBA player. And he seemed genuinely annoyed by the concept as he was talking about it to me. He wasn't really talking to me. He was really talking to himself. He was just using me as a proxy to get his thoughts off. I guess he thought I might care because I was a basketball guy. And I still remember that exchange because the irony of the whole thing. The irony of the exchange is that this guy was a fat, out of shape man who literally had a job working at a fitness facility that he had access to for free that he clearly was not using. But he was telling me how an NBA player who's getting paid millions of dollars to play basketball doesn't value the NBA. I get his sentiment. At the same time, looking at him like, mofo, you work at a gym. You have access to the gym for free. I'm pretty sure you don't use it, but you're talking about NBA players not valuing the NBA. Now, you don't value the job you work at. I didn't say this to him. I doubt he would want to have heard it, but it was very true. And the whole point here is this. When you give people something for free, they tend to not value it. They don't even notice that you gave it to them. That's what this guy didn't realize. He didn't realize that he had access to a gym for free because he wasn't using it. He needed it, but he wasn't using it. But he was very acutely aware of what NBA players should be valuing, not even aware of what he himself should be valuing. Not because he didn't know what a gym was. I think he pretty well knew the gym. If I asked him, can you show me around the gym? He could have showed me around the gym and told me where everything was. He was very aware of what was in the facility. He simply didn't notice the value of it for himself. Which is an interesting thing. Human beings, we tend to have these blindnesses when it comes to things that we're not invested in. We don't even notice that they're there. If you don't pay for it, you have no reason to pay attention. All right, when you're helping people for free, they treat you the same way that this fat Jewish guy was treating that Jewish community center that he had access to, as if it's not even there. They will not pay attention to what you have given them or the value of it because they didn't have to give anything to get it. This is simple human nature. You get what you pay for, and if you have not paid for something, it's almost as if you have gotten nothing, even if you got a lot. You don't even notice it because you never paid. Human nature is such wired that when we give something, we expect a return. When we give nothing, we expect no return. And we treat whatever return we got for nothing as if there was no return because we didn't pay. So there's no expectations. Like we're blind to it. There's not a reflection of the value that you're giving, but it kind of is. Which moves me to point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is stop helping people for free. Number 2, when you help people for free, you are effectively devaluing your help and you're devaluing yourself. Whatever you gave them, you're devaluing it. And you are devaluing yourself as a person, not only in your eyes, but in their eyes. Or not only their eyes, but your eyes. You're devaluing yourself. When you help people for free, you're giving them the impression that whatever they gave in order to get your help is worth that amount. Let me repeat that sentence. When you help people for free, you are giving them the impression that whatever they gave to get your help is literally worth whatever you gave them. Well, guess what? They just gave nothing. So what does that mean your help is worth? Exactly. So if your price is normally $100 and you decide to help somebody for $25, you are setting a precedent with that person that your value is $25 because you charge them $25. Even if you tell them that your price is normally $100. And you should tell them that my price is normally $100, but for you, this one time I'll charge you $25. Every time after this is $100. You should say that. What most people do, though, they don't do any of that. What they do is have the conversation in their head. I usually charge $100. I want to help this person out. And you'll just say $25. You don't tell them that your normal price is $100. You don't tell them it's only one time. You just charge them $25. They pay you $25. Now they see you as a $25 person. You just devalue yourself by not setting the terms. And they just devalue you because you let them do it. All right, they didn't do it. They didn't maliciously devalue you. You allowed them to devalue you because you set your price too well. And that's a confidence, discipline, and system issue. That's not a you issue personally, really. Not really a you issue. Sometimes it is, but often it's not. And it's definitely not a them issue. That's a you issue. And on a bigger picture is a marketing issue. Because if you ever find yourself thinking that you need to lower the price of what you're offering simply because the people who you're offering it to or the people you feel need it can't afford it, the problem is not that they can't afford it. Maybe they really can't afford it. Maybe they don't have the money. It's very possible. I often talk to entrepreneurs who say, well, people do have the money. They just act like they don't. Remember, I was talking to a fitness trainer who was telling me that one of his clients, who we both knew, one of his clients had told the trainer, I can't work with you anymore because it costs too much money. And the trainer was telling me about it. And he was kind of venting to me like, man, the guy's saying he don't have the money, but everybody has the money if they want it. He really just probably doesn't want to train with me. He's just giving me an excuse. And I didn't go back and forth with the trainer when he was venting to me, but I was thinking to myself that it's quite possible the guy just does not have the money. Sometimes people just don't have the fucking money. All right, it's not always that they're just lying to you because they don't have money. Sometimes they really don't fucking have it. And here's the issue. Here's what y'all need to understand, especially those of you who are entrepreneurs who do your own sales. If you find yourself continually talking to people who literally don't have the money to pay you, the problem is not them. The problem is not you. And the problem is not your price. The problem is you're talking to the wrong fucking people. That's your problem. You're just talking to the wrong people. So if I'm running a gym that costs $150 a month and I put the gym in the same neighborhood as a Planet Fitness where people are used to paying $10 a month and people keep coming to my gym and telling me how beautiful the facility is, yet they balk at the price of paying $150 a month, there's nothing wrong with my gym. There's nothing wrong with the people. There's nothing wrong with me. The problem is I am marketing to the wrong fucking people. I should have put my gym in South Beach instead of this beat up ass neighborhood where people want to spend $10 a month. That's the problem. That's a marketing issue, ladies and gentlemen. Positioning is marketing. Location. Any of you is in real estate. What's the number one rule of real estate? The first 3 rules of real estate. Location, location, location. And for all of you individually, number one rule in marketing for all of you is location, location, location. And as a matter of fact, as I'm saying it, I'll tell you right now, y'all want to know the future of the Work on Your Game Masterclass, I'm going to do an episode on what I just said. Number one rule of marketing. You can hear me typing right now. Okay. Location, location, Location. So this episode is coming in about a month. From when you're listening to it, it'll be about a month from now when this episode comes out. That's how far ahead I am in terms of ideas and topics. So that episode is coming. So keep that in mind that I told you. Location, location, location. You want to deal with higher level people, but you're looking at a bunch of people that seem to be low level. I would hear this often from athletes back in the day. And it's still an issue for people. I just don't get it told to me as often. But back in the day, I used to get a lot of basketball players or athletes in other sports, younger people saying to me, Dre, I want to be a higher level person. I want to be more motivated and more mindset driven and more purpose driven and more goals and growth driven. But the people around me are all kind of fucking losers and they're not serious about growth. What should I do about this? The answer to the question is get away from those people. The biggest solution, the main thing that a lot of people would default to is thinking, how can I get those people who are thinking low level to start thinking high level? How can I change their thinking to start thinking the way that I do, Dre? Can you help me out with telling them the right things to start thinking like me? The answer is hell fucking no. And don't try to do that. That's a bad idea. That's a bad use of your resources. You're trying to take a low level person and get them to think high level. That's a bad idea. Don't do it. Don't do it. Instead, if you're a high level thinking person and you look around and you see only low level thinking people, the problem is your location. You're in the wrong place. You're in the wrong geographical location. You need to move around to some higher level people. And that might require, pay attention here, that might require you making the investment to get around higher level people. The investment, meaning you might have to spend some extra money to go sit in this section of the auditorium instead of sitting in the back in the general population with the bums. You might have to pay a little extra to sit in VIP. You want to meet some important people on the plane, you might have to pay a little extra to sit in first class. You want to meet some important people at the conference, you might have to pay a little extra to sit in section 2 instead of sitting in section 5. So section 5 ticket's $50, the section 2 ticket's $350. You might have to spend that $350. Why? Because the people to the left and to the right of you, they also spent $350. Guess what? They're thinking the same thing that you're thinking. Those are the people you need to meet. But you can't meet them sitting all the way in the back. You follow me? So the investment actually is not coming from them. The investment is coming from you. So if you find yourself around too many low level folks and you're looking around like, what the hell is this? There's a bunch of people in here who I just don't want to be around. Don't try to change who the people are when you see a bunch of bums or lower level people around you, or just not the quite type of person you're looking for. You don't see them around you. The problem is not them. The problem is you are there. That's the problem. They always going to be that way. Understand something, ladies and gentlemen. 90% of people are average, and they're not trying to get better. They're not trying to grow. They are definitely not trying to hear no shit like what I'm talking about here. You are the 10%ers. Your job is to identify where are the other 10%ers and how do I make sure I'm there? Not how do I get them to come to me? How do I make sure I go to where they are? That's your job. It's not their job to find you. It's your job to find them. And then it's your job to make sure you stay in that space. That's your job. That's an investment, ladies and gentlemen. You put something in now, you get more back later. Theoretically. That's what investment means. So this whole concept is about helping people for free. So you help people for free, there's no investment. So guess what? They ain't going to value it and they ain't going to get better because they didn't invest. Does everybody understand what I'm saying here? If you don't, rewind this and listen to it again from the very beginning of this episode. When you help people for free, you give them the impression that whatever you gave them is worth whatever they gave, and they gave nothing. If your price is 100 and you charge 25, you are now worth 25. If you want your offer to be valued, you must demand that the proper price be paid, even by somebody who is claiming that they don't have the price. And if they don't have the price and they're seriously telling you the truth, then don't try to cajole them into finding money that they ain't got. Instead, go find people who already got it. And they'll have to think twice about if they can pay you $100. Oh yeah, I'll pay you $100. How much is it? $100? Cool. Where I'll send the money. That's the person you want to talk to. Not the person who says the price is $100, man, can you bring your price down because I only got 25. See, if you keep talking to too many of those folks, you have a marketing issue. Somehow, some way, you're attracting a bunch of $25 people and you're trying to sell a $100 product. That's a problem. You need to go to where they're $100 people, so selling a $100 product is a normal thing for them. That's where you need to go. Location, location, location. All right, you don't want people who are looking for a deal or a discount on what you're selling. If too many people are asking you for a discount, you're talking to the wrong people. That has something to do with your presentation. Your energy is attracting these $25 people, but you're trying to be a $100 person. Problem. Now, understand the cost of doing this. By accepting less, you have changed the value of your offer. Anytime you accept less than what you want, you are lowering your value. Don't lower your value. You did work to make your value what it is. Go find people who value it already. And here's the one more secret I'll give everybody. They exist. Okay? They exist. If you have never done things like pay for a gym that costs way more than the average gym in town, if you've never done something like pay extra to sit in first class on a flight, you've never done something like pay for the VIP seats at a conference when the regular seats are like 1/5 or 1/4 of the price. If you've never done these kind of things, go to a restaurant that's going to cost you for two people $200 to $300 and maybe even more than that, as opposed to $40 like fucking Applebee's or Denny's. If you've never done these type of things, then maybe what I'm saying to you sounds very abstract, and depending on your money mindset, it may seem even kind of fearful. It may cause a twinge of fear in you to even think about spending that type of money for something that you could spend a lot less on. I'm here to explain to you. Once you experience it a time or two, you will understand exactly what I mean. You'll understand it emotionally. Right now, many of you only understand it logically because you've never done these things. So I'm trying to bring you up to a higher level. And the only reason I'm trying to do it here is because you're listening to my show. If you were just some random person on the street, I wouldn't stop you and try to give you a lecture on this shit. I'm only giving it to you because you tuned into the show. So I'm assuming you're interested in this type of elevation. Those of you who have done this, you paid for first class, you've sat in VIP, you paid extra for a meal, you've gone to a high level restaurant, and that doesn't allow you to walk in with a t-shirt on. If you've been to these kind of places and you've been to these type of spaces where you paid extra money to be around higher level people who also invested extra, you understand exactly what I'm talking about. But a lot of people haven't gotten it. And sometimes you got to experience things to really, really, really understand them. Many things in life, you have to go through it to really know it. You may understand what I'm saying, but if you've never done it, you don't get it. You hear me, but you don't really get it. You got to do it first. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is stop helping people for free. Number 3, professional level help demands professional level investments. You get what you pay for. All right, everybody's heard this before, right? You get what you pay for. People who want professional level help expect to make professional level investments. Simple as that. I told you all, I want window tints on my car. I did it once. First car I ever had. My first car, I did the tints myself. And they were good enough, but they looked exactly like what they were. Some amateur who knows nothing about tinting windows, tinted his own windows. That's exactly what it looked like. That's exactly what the fuck it was. Nowadays, if you see me driving my car, you'll see the tints on the windows and you'll see that they're perfect. Not because I got good at tinting windows, but because I got good at firing myself from tinting windows and hiring somebody who actually knows how to do it. And guess what? I paid them. People who want professional level help expect to make professional level investments. You need to go to the areas where people who want pro level help are willing to pay pro level prices. I was just looking at a Lifetime Fitness in South Florida that I know some people who are members of this gym. By the way, if you're a single man living in the United States of America, if you are into fitness at all, one of the best ways to go meet women without it being contrived, like going to a bar or a club, don't do that. Instead, go find the highest priced gym in town and just go to it every day. Thank me later. All right, that's the best way you do it. Go to the highest priced gym in town, go to the gym every day and actually work out. Hire a trainer if you have no idea what you're doing, and participate in the events. High priced gyms have events, not events, but they may have events, but I'll participate in the activities available to you. For example, when I was going to this gym that cost $150 a month in South Beach, I had never in my life taken a class in a gym. And I've been going to gyms since I was a child. I've always gone to gyms. I've been an athlete my whole life. I still go to gyms now, and I stopped playing pro ball 10 years ago. I'd never taken a class in a gym. But I remember I was in that gym one day, and I said, shit, if I'm paying $150 a month for this gym, let me take a couple of these classes and see what they're about. I heard of yoga, and I heard it might be good for me, and I heard basketball players sometimes do it. Let me take one of these yoga classes. I heard of Pilates, and I heard that might be good for me too. Let me take one of these Pilates classes and find out. Now, mind you, this is not, we didn't have Chat GPT back then. So it's not like I could go ask Chat GPT, is this a good idea for basketball players? I said, let me just go take the class. Yoga class. Okay, first of all, you're a single man in the town. You go to a high-end gym and you want to meet women. I suggest you take some yoga classes. I'll just leave it at that. Secondly, I started taking Pilates classes. Pilates classes, the woman who was running the class impressed me. I took the class a couple times with the same woman. I just looked on the schedule, saw her name, and this woman impressed me because I noticed that while we were doing the movements, which were actually not very easy for me to do, because Pilates is all about core strength, not extremity strength. So I had big biceps and calf muscles, and I could run and jump all day. But Pilates is all about the core, muscles that you can't really see from the outside. And this little white woman is doing the movements very easily. I knew it was easy for her because she was talking while and telling us what to do while she was doing the same thing she was telling us to do. And I'm trying to do it and I couldn't do them all. I can't keep holding this position this long. She's holding it and talking at the same time. And she probably does this 4 or 5 times a day. Like class instructors, they teach the same class a bunch of times a day. She's doing it and talking and making it look easy. And she's not even out of breath. And I can't even do the shit. And I'm this big, strong guy with all these muscles. How I can't do this? This makes no sense. So I came back to Pilates. All right, this was a challenge. I came back to Pilates, came back again. Same instructor. And one day she's instructing the class, and the class is mostly females. This is maybe 3 guys and like 20 women. Again, yoga, Pilates, thank you later, gentlemen. And at one point the woman said, I'm sorry, I don't want to yell at you all. And she hadn't yelled, but to her, I guess she saw it as a yell. I don't want to yell at you all. I'm used to working with athletes sometimes and I can yell at them. I didn't mean to yell at you guys. And she kind of apologized. And I just noticed that she said that. So when the class ended, I walked up to her, introduced myself and said, hey, I heard you say that you work with athletes. I said, do you still work with athletes? And I remember when I said that to her, her eyes got big and we started working together. That woman's name is Maria. And if you watch my YouTube videos back in the day, you would see me training sometimes with a trainer. It was a small white woman. That's Maria. I met her inside that $150 a month gym. She was one of their instructors. Another thing about gyms like that, their instructors are usually the best instructors in town because they can pay them the most. Now, instructors still tell me they don't get paid enough for doing those classes, but they still do them because it's a good way to meet people who eventually become clients. Case in point, right? I became one of Maria's clients because I met her in that class. Had she not been teaching that class, I never would have met her. Point being, you make investments to go meet people. You meet people you otherwise would not have met. A lot of people I know in the entrepreneurial world these days, I don't know them just because we're all walking around Miami. We are, but that's not how I know most of them. I know most of them because I met them at events, conferences, Vegas, Miami, New York, Atlanta, LA, Dallas. I meet these people at events. I've told you all many times, when I go to events these days, I'm not there to take notes and listen to the fucking speakers. Shout out to the speakers. I'm a speaker myself. I don't go to events to take notes and listen to the speakers. I go to events to meet people. Why? Because high-level people who are serious about growth, they go to events. I know this, and because I know this, I say, okay, if I want to meet some more high-level people, what should I do? Let me go to another event. Which one should I go to? I don't go to events based on who's going to be speaking. A little bit I do, indirectly. I go to events based on who else is going to be at that event with a ticket. I'm not talking about the speakers. Who's buying a ticket to go to that event? Let me go to that one because I think I want to meet people who go to that. And there's some events that I'm going to go to, and the people running the events, I'm like, I don't even think this person's that good. Honestly, I've been to some events of people who I don't even think they're that good. I don't think they offer that much substance, the actual main guy or girl. But I go to the event anyway because I know they have an audience of people who are the kind of people that I want to meet. And this is how I play the game. And these are investments, folks. And going to events ain't free. All right, that flight ain't free. The hotel ain't free. The food ain't free. The ticket ain't free. My time is not free. I make those investments because I want to meet people. I'll make my money back based off the relationships. Is everybody following what I'm saying here? Okay, so it's an equal and fair exchange for a high-level person to make a high-level investment. And they expect it. It's not a stretch for them. This is normal for them. These are the people you want to be working with. This is why when you're facing the challenge of someone wanting you to charge less than what you charge, or you want to charge less because you really want to help the person, this is not a problem that you need to solve. You're trying to solve the wrong problem. The problem you need to solve is finding the right people. Again, location, 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 folks. Who are you standing in front of? When I say location, I mean it literally and I mean it metaphorically. Who are you standing in front of? Make sure that they know that what you have and what they need at the price that you want to charge is this is the deal that they need to make. This is what they need to do. And again, high-level people, you don't have to explain this to them. They already know. You don't have to twist their arm. All right, you need to find the people for whom they are looking at it as a value proposition, not a price proposition. There's a difference between value and price. Price is how much money you got to spend. Value is what am I getting for my money? You want to talk to people who are looking at things based on value, not based on price. I'm letting that one sink in for a couple seconds. Okay. You want to deal with people when you're dealing with high level people, they don't have this nagging problem of not valuing what you're offering or feeling as if you are overvaluing what you have simply because they think is out of their price range. See, they don't have that problem. You want to talk to people who don't have this problem. They don't have a price problem. Their problem is value. Now, everybody has a problem to be solved. I don't care how much money you have. Oprah Winfrey has problems to be solved. Elon Musk has problems. But their problem is a value problem, not a price problem. A price problem is how much money are you asking for? A value problem is what do I get for my money? See, price is how much money are you asking for, because they're concerned if they have the money or don't have the money. Value is, what do I get for my money, because I clearly have the money. It's just a matter of, do I think giving up this much money will solve this problem at this price? I got the money. It's just a matter of who can solve my problem at that price. Those are the kind of people you want to work with. People with value problems, not price problems. Does everyone understand? And to deal with people with value problems, guess where you got to go? Maybe somewhere different than the place where you keep meeting the people with price problems. Novel idea, isn't it? You see how easily I solve problems? All right. So you can take a product that you want to charge $1,000 for, show it to a bunch of people who only have a budget of $100, and you are going to go home thinking that either you are delusional for asking for $1,000, or that these people are cheap, or these people are dummies, or that there's something wrong with you for even coming up with this idea in the first place because nobody wanted to buy it. When actually none of those is the problem. The problem is just you were showing your product to the wrong people. Take that same product around a bunch of people who expect to spend $10,000 and you're only charging $1,000. Somebody's going to buy it and they're going to say, why are you only charging $1,000 for this? You should be charging $10,000. One of my mentors is a woman named Dawn in St. Louis. She basically taught me the ins and outs of the speaking business and the seeds of what became intellectual property business for me. And she told me that early in her career, she went and did a seminar. I don't remember what the seminar was on, but she rented out a hotel room, did a seminar, and a bunch of people signed up and only one person showed up. And she had charged like $125 for the seminar. And this one guy showed up. And Donna said, okay, well, one guy showed up. She went and did the seminar. She does the whole seminar for just this one guy, 3 hours or something like that. And when the seminar ended, Donna said to the man, no, I'm done. No, what do you think? What can I do? And he said, here, let me help you out. And he asked her, how much did you charge for the seminar? She said $125. And he said, write it up on she had, the flip chart. She wrote the $125 on the flip chart. The man got up, walked up to the flip chart, grabbed the marker, and he put a 0 at the end of the $125. He said, this is how much you need to be charging. $1,250. He said, if you charge this much, first of all, you would attract the right type of people. And second of all, whoever paid will show up. Third of all, you're going to have a different clientele, different client base than when you're charging $125. And the illustration is what I want you all to get here, that many of you are, depending on your money mindset and your background, you may be stuck in this mindset that in order to bring in more people, I got to lower my price. That's the wrong way of thinking. Even though technically it may be true. You don't want to bring in more people by lowering your price. What you want to do is bring in higher quality people by raising your price. Because if you're selling a product for $100, you might sell 5 people simply because it's in their price range. But what if you sold your product for $1,000 and you only sold 2 people? You only got to serve 2 people. First of all, they're more engaged. They're more bought in. They're more likely to follow through on everything because they invested $1,000 as opposed to $100. Secondly, you made $2,000 revenue, whereas with the 5 people at $100, you only made $500. So you 4x your revenue by having to do 40% of the work with people who are more engaged, more bought in, and more likely to follow through on what you say, which means they're probably going to produce more results and make you look better and give you better testimonials and case studies as a result of following what you said, because they're more likely to do it as opposed to people who only invested $100. So if you really think about it, and I just explained it to you, rewind it, listen to that part 5 times in a row if you need to catch what I just said, is that when you get people to invest more, they are more invested mentally, emotionally, and physically. They are more likely to do what you say, and assuming you're any good, you're going to get higher and better returns for yourself and for them with fewer people at a higher price. This is why you shouldn't be helping people for free. You're the same person when you're charging $100 that you are when you charge $1,000. The skill level's still there. The only thing that changes is who you're doing it for. And this makes all the difference. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a small thing. This is the business, what I just explained to you. This is the business. Let's recap today's class, which is why you need to stop helping people for free. All right, some of you, especially in service-based businesses, have this problem. I'm solving it for you. Number 1, people do not appreciate what they have not invested in. Simple as that. If they don't pay, they do not pay attention. All right, there are no exceptions to this. Number 2, you are devaluing your help and devaluing yourself when you give people help for free. All right, they don't value it because they didn't pay for it, and they don't value you because they didn't pay you. And you don't value yourself because you just lowered your price knowing that you didn't want to lower your price. Stop doing this. Stop talking to people who don't value what you're offering. Go talk to better people, which means you may need to physically move your location to somewhere else where you're dealing with higher level people. Number 3, professional level help demands professional level investment, period. And professionals understand this. If you're talking to someone who doesn't understand the investment required for professional level help, you are not talking to a professional. Go talk to some professionals. And even if someone calls himself a pro, if they give you this problem, they ain't no pro. They're a pro in name only. So we can call them a pino. So they say Republicans in name only are rhinos. Okay, this is a pino, professional in name only. True professionals understand that professional help costs money. They understand this. They expect to spend money. They're not surprised by it. They expect it. It's just a matter of how much and can we get ROI on this much of an investment. All right, we'll invest this much, but can we get ROI? That's all they're evaluating. They're making a value judgment, not a price judgment. You want to deal with value clients, not price clients. Does anybody need me to say this for the 8th time here today? If so, rewind this episode and listen to it again. All that being said, once you understand this, go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Secure me as your coach. Inside the circle or inside our full coaching program, I will show you how to apply this to your business, how to turn this into a permanent mindset, how do we strategize around making it happen and getting your price where it's supposed to be, not where you think it's okay to be, which is some bullshit. That's why you're devaluing yourself. How do we systematically make sure you're delivering so that the value is way more than the price, so people are getting a deal even when they're paying a high price? And how do you make sure this stays in place and it keeps working over and over and over again? This is literally what I do. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com. Work on your game. Dre all day.